Today on Fixing the Money Thing. 10 things you need to know about finances.
50% of the time, the IRS makes mistakes themselves with themselves. You will save on the average $60,000 to $100,000. They found out that $1.5 billion in government benefits were not being utilized because anything you don't know about sets you up for a loss. I'm Gary Keesee. For 9 years, I had debt I couldn't pay, which brought on panic attacks, antidepressants, until the kingdom of God drastically changed my life. Now I want to help you fix the money thing.
America's financial coach, Gary Keesee, wants to mentor you in the kingdom principles that will set you free.
If you put God's principles in place, you will prosper.
This is Gary Keesee, Fixing the Money Thing.
Oh, hey, it's good to see you again today. I'm Gary Keesee, and this is Fixing the Money Thing show. It does look different. I was preparing to do the show when my wife and daughter kind of interrupted the flow of things and hijacked me and said, we've got to have some answers on some of the financial issues we keep hearing about today. And I said, well, okay, let's do that. And so I came back and began to research those answers. But I think you'd probably get a better feel for what happened if we go back before this moment. And let's take a look at what happened a few minutes ago.
I mean, there's so many people that give us emails and write us emails about finances. It seems to be a huge issue, particularly with single women. There's just a lot of issues going on with finances.
Yeah, it's very confusing. I think there's so many differing opinions out there, so I think we need to go to the expert today. I think we need to talk to Dad.
Yeah, let's go ask Gary. He's the financial expert.
All right, let's go.
Hey, Gary.
Hi.
We've been talking, and there are so many issues with finances and so many emails, and it seems confusing, especially to us women folk. And so we're looking for you to narrow it down. Could you just talk to us today? Give us 10 top things that people need to know about their finances.
That's a great idea.
So
I was
it's
just
not
preparing for Fixing the Money Thing and just writing down some notes, but I think that would be a good topic if we can maybe dialogue on that. I think a lot of people would probably...
We need to narrow it down because I've heard so many things about, you got to do this or no, don't do that. I just think it would be great if we could simplify it. Simplify it down for us.
Very good.
Give us your top 10. Let us know what are the top 10 things we need to do financially.
Do you mind if I turn the cameras on? I think this might work. We might just be able to talk to some people at the same time. How's that?
Okay.
You girls mind?
Go ahead.
Can you guys do that? Can you guys turn the cameras on? I think they have a good idea. We'll just kind of jump in on that, and then we'll see if it works out for us. Well, first off, understanding finances. We have to understand it's a big topic, But if you had to ask me what the number one thing I would tell people, get out of debt. And here's the magic bullet, if you will. Here's what they don't know, is that the average family can be out of debt in 5 to 7 years, including their home mortgage, without changing their income. Now, that sentence just kind of sticks.
Most people would not believe that, I don't think.
But your mother and I researched that. Way back, we started our businesses. God spoke that to us, and we researched it and went through all kinds of files and clients. We found that for 86% of all the families we dealt with in our business, that was true. Wow. Incredible. Now, here's what is an interesting thing. Now, to make that happen, you got to find money, you got to reposition assets and move some things around. But we, one of our sponsor, Ford Financial Group, does a plan that actually shows people exactly where the money comes from and exactly how to be out of debt in less than 7 years. For instance, this family had a $140,000 mortgage, like 6 credit cards, 2 car loans, and the plan shows how to free up money, and we found $1,400 a month. $1,400 a month was found in their cash flow.
They already were spending that they didn't need to spend?
Just by repositioning money they didn't know they were losing, overpaying taxes, just by moving money around, $1,400 a month. And then by applying that money to their debt, they are out of debt in 6.9 years, including their mortgages, their cars, their credit cards. Now, how do you think they felt about that?
Pretty exciting.
That's pretty exciting.
They cut their 30-year mortgage, you're saying, down to 6.5 years.
Yeah, 6.9 years.
Wow.
And they were excited about that. Now, Ford Financial Group has made an arrangement with Fixing the Money Thing program that we can do that for our guests, for our viewers. They can have this very plan done for them free of charge.
We'll also do it for Drenda's.
And the Drenda program as well. If they'll just call the number on the screen, or they'll go to our website and get the number, we'll be glad to have Forward Financial Group send that out to them.
Cool.
I mean,
so that simplifies that pretty. I mean, they show you exactly what to do.
Exactly.
And that's number one, get out of debt.
Get out of debt.
Get out of debt. What's number two?
Number two is similar, and that is restructure your debt. So if you were a client of mine, I would look at your debt first, and I would look at all the debt. In other words, you know, of course, we want to pay it off quickly, but in the process of waiting for that to happen, like the 6.9 years, we can get it done faster by lowering the interest rate on the current debt structure.
Right.
So for instance, we would look at the mortgage, we would look at the consumer debt, which is always higher interest than a mortgage. We would look at car loans, you know, credit cards, and we would see if there's a way to consolidate or refinance, bring those interest rates down.
Now, when is it really worth it to refinance?
When it saves you money.
So if you can drop your interest point by a whole point, 2 points.
There's a formula. It depends on how long you're going to stay in the house.
Okay.
Typically, you want to stay in the house over 2 years to refinance.
Okay.
But you know, if you consider the interest rate times your mortgage debt, so if you had a savings of 1% that you're going to save by refinancing against a $200,000 mortgage, you could then calculate how much it's going to save you.
Right.
Then take the cost of the refinancing compared to the savings. You could figure out how much time it would take to break even.
Okay.
So, but typically about a year and a half to 2 years is what it takes to break even on a refinance.
Okay.
So restructure the debt. What's number three?
Well, number three is probably common sense. Have a cash reserve. Without a cash reserve, you are going to always have to have debt options.
Right.
Like a credit card in your pocket.
If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're going to be using credit.
Yeah, your car breaks down or something.
So how do we get this cash reserve, though? Because a lot of people say, I don't have any extra money, Gary. That's why I'm using debt.
Right.
Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's what we did for 30 years. We helped people find money. Most people have all the money they need, obviously, to get out of debt in 6.9 years. They already had the money. They already had the money. They just didn't know they had the money. I call it the fragment business. If you add up enough little pieces of money, it adds up to a large amount of money, and you can be out of debt very quickly. Now, where can we look? Well, the biggest loss area is taxes. Everyone hates taxes.
Right.
Who wants to talk about taxes? Who wants to look at tax forms? But there is big money there.
But aren't taxes, don't they just tell you how much you owe and there's really no way to get around it?
Who's they?
The IRS?
No, the IRS does not tell you how much to pay.
Okay.
Tax professionals that do your return tell you how much it looks like you're going to owe.
Okay.
The IRS's responsibility is to dictate the laws.
Right. But aren't those pretty straightforward? I mean...
Well, straightforward's kind of a pretty... That's not really straightforward, because that's why we have H&R Block. We have all these tax companies, all these people to prepare. We have TurboTax, all these companies that help people, because it is confusing.
And there's a huge difference in what you can pay depending on who did your return, right?
Huge.
Really?
Well, 50% of the time, the IRS makes mistakes with themselves. In other words, they get their own advice wrong 50% of the time. Money Magazine says they guarantee the average family loses 25, at least, or 50% in overpaying their taxes.
Oh my gosh.
So
and
we
nobody
say,
catches it?
Who's going to catch it? The same guy that did it? I mean, your tax preparer did it. He obviously couldn't see it.
You need a second opinion in taxes.
You need a second opinion or a third opinion on your tax return.
Okay.
And so you have to understand how to do that. So we got to find money to get out of debt. So taxes is the biggest expense. In fact, you work until April 11th or 12th, I think it is the 12th of every year, just to pay taxes. So every dime you make goes to pay taxes. That's the biggest expense in your life, okay?
So I'm trying to fund my cash reserve. I can do that with tax?
Well, here's a simple one. Tax refund check. 2/3 of Americans count it a victory to get a tax refund check. Let me ask you a question. How much interest did the IRS pay you on the refund?
None.
0. Would you get all excited about investing your money at a bank that advertised 0% interest? No. So what you want to do is go back to your employer and get the W-9 form and fill in the allowances, and there's a formula you go through which then tells you how much you should have withheld. So take that money as it's repositioned back into your cash flow. In other words, you don't want a big refund check, maybe $200.
Okay.
So free that money up into your monthly cash flow and put that in towards your cash reserve.
Right.
Once that's established, then you'll start accelerating debt with it.
Would you set that up like in a debit or something and it goes into an account?
You can do that.
The same money then, so you don't spend it, you clear it.
Well, you got to get it out of the checking account.
What about even you can have a garage sale, get things out of the basement?
Well, that's my next point, finding money. How about this? $400 billion is lost in the United States. Go to every state's website. They have a file called unclaimed money. Whatever state you live in, go to your website, go to unclaimed funds. There's money, millions, billions of dollars there that people have not claimed.
From what?
Well, they move, their employer can't find them, an aunt leaves them an inheritance or something, and this money's all recorded by law. It has to be held for you in escrow. And there's $400 billion. You can start your search by missingmoney.com. It's a website that actually searches all these databases for you and tells you. And I went online myself and found that my grandpa left money that I didn't know about.
Wow.
Super.
Yeah, and how about overpaying taxes? My dad got a refund check of about $4,000 when we went online and found out that he'd overpaid his property taxes. There's money to be found by going online and checking these things out. But you mentioned garages and basements are a great source of funds. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff down there.
So get that cash reserve is the main thing.
Sell it on Craigslist, get stuff out, sell stuff.
I haven't needed it for 6 months.
And
you're probably not going to need it.
How big does this emergency cash fund, cash reserve need to be?
It needs to eventually get up to 6 months to a year, but I always tell people start with $2,000.
Okay.
Because they just have to start somewhere, you know?
Set of tires, it'll pay for
so it'll pay for a lot of things, but this can go on for a long time. But listen, when we come back, let's dig further into this and let's talk about how to find more money and find out how we can get these top 10 things listed out for you.
All these things you've been talking about have come out of your book, Fixing the Money Thing, a practical guide.
And that came out of our life, what we learned.
Right.
So when we come back, we'll talk again some more with Amy and Drenda about the top 10 financial things you need to know to start the process of getting out of debt, getting your house in order. Be right back.
You're watching Fixing the Money Thing.
When we first moved here, we were not doing as great financially. For us, it was just always that paycheck to paycheck living, never quite enough. Something major would always happen as soon as we did get any money, and so it just felt like we could never get ahead.
When we were transferred out here, that whole first year, I worked my guts out that entire year, and we actually lost $20,000 that year. So that first year, you know, trying to take care of a baby, spending a lot of time away from my house, doing sales, only to be $20,000 less than what I was the year before. It was really stressful.
Well, we both grew up in the same church together, and so we had a very law-based religious background, and so a lot of Pastor Gary's teachings was totally different than how we grew up, and so we really had to renew our mind.
That whole concept of, you know, taking your burdens and giving them to the Lord and live in that double portion, live in that fullness and completion, we digested it. I mean, we took notes. We couldn't get enough.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of 2018. We ended up getting together with a friend of ours from Ford Financial, and we wanted to break it down. We wanted to be able to get out of debt. We wanted to fix our situation. We sat down with them in March to lay out an 18-month game plan to get out of debt. And 3 months later, we paid off our credit card bill. And then a month and a half later, we paid off our student loan bill. And I remember calling my friend saying, hey, I know it's an 18-month plan, but it's 5 months in and we're out of debt, you know? And it was a change, but we knew that there was more.
For us, that was a big deal to just see that happen, because we're like, okay, this works. So we took that and then we started applying it to how we operated with the debt, and things just started compounding quickly, and money would just, whether he earned different bonuses, you know, our different streams of income that we have started increasing, and we were just able to quickly pay off that debt. And I think it was just having, you know, there was a practical side to it of having a plan, But then there was also applying the spiritual principles.
And I feel like, even for the people that have had success with this, we have to think bigger, because there's a lot more people that need to see how good God is in our life and how he can be in their life too.
Yeah.
Get out your notebook. Gary has 6 more financial tips you need to know.
The things that Gary's been sharing are in those books, Fixing the Money Thing and Financial Keys You Need to Know. 10 things. So we're trying to cover some of those things. We're on number 5.
Yeah, finding money.
Finding money. That's our favorite part as women.
Favorite.
Exactly. We're
That's
shoppers.
My favorite.
We love to find deals.
Speaking of finding money, we're talking about finding the money we need to get out of debt.
Right.
Some new laws are coming through the United States where they've deregulated gas and electric. And for instance, by one simple phone call, most people can reduce their electric bill by 20 to 30%. That's big money, especially for business owners. But if they want more information about that, they can go to the website. Of course, our company that's sponsoring Ford Financial Group, again, they handle some of that and give some ideas and can help people with that.
Okay.
But that's simple money. One phone call, 20% off, 30% off your electric bill.
Right.
It's just an idea how we find money. There's fragments.
Doesn't necessarily
everywhere.
mean working harder, just working smarter.
Exactly. There's money out there.
Right.
That's exactly right.
Yes, number 6. Give us number 6.
Well, number 6 is in line with finding money, but it deals with insurance. Everyone loves to pay for insurance, right?
It's boring.
It's boring. I mean, most people don't read
evil.
their insurance policies to put themselves to sleep at night. Well, they could, because they would put them to sleep. But the bottom line is they don't know about it. They don't want to know about it. But because anything you don't know about sets you up for a loss.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because
someone can take advantage of you.
Exactly right. So let me give an example. Life insurance. Now, how exciting is that?
Not.
It's not exciting. Now think about this. Life insurance is not exciting. No one wants to talk about it, but it has more money than real estate, banking, and oil combined.
What?
Huge.
Bigger than real estate, banking, and oil
I didn't know that.
combined. You say, what are you talking about? Life insurance. Life insurance companies are the biggest financial companies in the world.
Wow.
Now, they got that money from selling different types of products and ways they've done things. So specifically, what we call cash value life insurance, where it has a cash value as opposed to term insurance. It's like you have a group, if you have a group policy, if something happens to you, it just pays a death amount. Mm-hmm. So to give you an example why we need to learn these things, a typical $250,000 life insurance policy may cost you $3,200 a year. It means if something happens to you, it pays $250,000 to your spouse, okay. But a typical term insurance policy pays out the same, $250,000 per year, but only costs $400 a year compared to $3,200 a year.
That's quite a
but with
difference.
cash value, I've always heard you're investing, in your
Yes,
future.
you're right. It does build up money. In fact, in the example I just gave you, it would build up $113,000 after 30 years. But here's the key you don't know, is if something happened to you, the life insurance company pays the death claim and keeps your cash.
Which sounds like they're stealing.
Really?
That is exactly, and if you want the money out while you're living, you have to borrow it and pay interest on it.
And I want to know, what is the return on the money then? If you're borrowing it and you've been paying your own money into the policy
Well, the
all
Federal
along.
Trade Commission did a 2-year study of that, and the average return was about 0.7 to 0.9% return. But the point I'm making is that's one little example in the insurance area. Mm-hmm. So if I was a company, would I want to sell $250,000 worth of liability for $400 or $3,200?
Right.
You understand how
push the $3,000.
You understand how they made a lot of money.
Right.
But so there's things you need to know about insurance. Car insurance, homeowners insurance, all these different areas have losses when you do not know how they operate. Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the things that we did.
Ignorance is not bliss.
Ignorance is not bliss.
Even if it's an area you don't want to delve into, it's worth it because you're losing lots of money.
Exactly.
Something so simple as that, right?
Yeah, so which is what your mother and I did. We started a company to help people find the fragments 30 years ago, and we began to research this stuff. We go, you got to be kidding me. Who's telling people this?
Like a rip-off.
Nobody.
Oh, what about that?
Yeah.
That's why the middle class is always the one that's paying out all these things, because they don't have the finances to hire a professional to watch out, and even professionals can take you to the clear.
Well, I mean, for instance, the IRS is not going to tell you how to pay less taxes. The bank's not going to tell you how to pay the loan off early.
Right.
I mean, who is the advocate
not going to tell you
for
to
the
go
middle
for the
class?
term insurance.
No one's the middle class
Right.
pays at all, and so we have to. There's
Okay,
all
give us another, because
I know we're running out of time. Okay, here's a big one. What do you think would be the biggest or one of the biggest expenses in your married life?
A house?
Your
A house.
Right.
Did you know, or have you considered building your own house? The average is you build your own house, you general contract it, which is what we did. You will save on the average $60,000 to $100,000.
Wow.
You say, I don't know how to do that.
And we proved that.
There are books that show you how to do that. It is not that difficult to do. We did that, and you can save $100,000 on your house just by learning some basics of how to basically schedule subcontractors and designing and working in your own house.
Yeah, I remember it. We went through that process, and I learned so much just watching you do it. But it wasn't really.
It was fun. We had a great experience. We learned
a lot
of
as hard
things.
as it may sound.
Yeah. So a house
and we
is
have
a big
we have
deal.
resources they can get about that as well.
We have resources
We can
on
put
that as
that
well.
online.
Yeah, we
okay,
put
I want
all
to get
this-
to the next one.
Here is
All
a
right.
really, really big one, because once you have some money, you want to keep it. And one of the questions we get now with the economy in a mess is, what about my retirement money? Is it safe?
And a lot of people have lost retirement money, huge amounts.
In the last, basically the last 10 years, you've heard this phrase twice. It hasn't been this bad since the Great Depression.
Right.
And twice we've seen retirement accounts drop 50 to 70%. Twice.
Wow.
And in fact, they're just now starting to get back where they were 10 years ago. So our advice to consumers is there's a way to invest or hold your retirement account that's safe and insured without the risk of the markets and without sacrificing the return and getting a 1% or a negative, like the bank, 1.2 or a measly little return.
Right.
There are new products on the market, in the marketplace, that allow you to capture current good returns and have safe retirement accounts. By the way, most people have their money in a 401k. Here's something they don't know. A law was passed in 2002 that said that a person with a 401k retirement account can move it out of that retirement account, can move it out of their 401k without leaving the company. See, most people know you can move it once you leave the company, but you can usually move the money out of your current 401k into your own choosing, your own choice, your own retirement account in an IRA, what you choose to put it in, without leaving your company and without stopping the 401k. In other words, it keeps going every month. You keep investing into it.
And is that advantageous to most people to make that move?
401ks are very limited. They're in the market. They have limited options. We recommend that people take control of their retirement account for safety in these days, and they usually can outperform the 401k's return.
Wow. Excellent.
Keep it safe.
Do you have another?
Well, yeah, here's a big one. Of course, we can go for a long time. This will be the last one I have time for. And that is, a lot of people are they're hurting, they need some money. And in Ohio, they found out that $1.5 billion in government benefits were not being utilized by the people of Ohio because the forms are too complicated, they didn't know who to go to, et cetera, et cetera. So this program came into existence that helped consolidate all of the programs that are available, like food stamps, rent to help, subsidized energy bills. All of these things help with tax returns are all available to people, and that's money. They found that they were able to capture thousands of dollars that they did not normally know they had, and that is about all the time I have, girls. And so I want to say, if you want the information,
that's helpful. That's a lot. That's a lot. But it is available
more,
in the 10 keys.
It's all going to be on the website.
It's available at Fixing the Money Thing. Those websites are in here.
Yes.
They can also
It's all
go
in
to
the book.
Gary Keesee.
Yeah, but you can see, short period of time, we've been able to list many, many things that can find money very quickly that people don't think about. So I trust you'll consider that and go to GaryKeesee.com or Drenda.com and let's get the material. Let's win for our families. Let's find the fragments, and you can win in your finances and be out of debt. We'll see you next time right here on Fixing the Money Thing.
This program was made possible by our friends and partners. Thank you.
Society wants to take your money.
It's a cutthroat world out there. Scams and credit card companies want to swindle you out of your money. Inflation and recession put added strain on your wallet. And sometimes it seems like the more you try to climb out of the hole, the deeper you dig it. That's not what life is supposed to be like. You're promised abundance and prosperity for the citizens of God's kingdom. The double portion, pressed down, running over.
Debt is a system of insufficiency. It is not part of God's system.
60% of America lives paycheck to paycheck with nothing left over. With interest rates on a constant rise and price increases on everything from gas to groceries, it seems like a hopeless situation. But God showed Gary how to beat the system. He discovered the way to flip the script so he can be generous on all occasions. And in the last 15 years, Fixing the Money Thing has helped thousands of people defeat their debt and discover their destiny. Your financial success is only a click or a call away. Gary's keystone book, Fixing the Money Thing, lays out the foundation for your financial freedom.
Everyone should have this information. We're trying to change the way you think about money.
There's no excuse to stay in the slavery system of credit cards and high-interest loans. Start with a plan to turn your life around and live with the purpose God has for your life.
We want you to have this information so you can be free.
This can be the year you break the cycle of living hand-to-mouth and start being the person other people go to for advice. 10 financial keys you need to know is your cheat sheet for jumpstarting your success. This CD is essential for your understanding of how to manage your money. With 10 easy-to-follow steps, your freedom and financial peace are more accessible than ever before. Take charge of your situation and start living the good life now.
The thing that holds most people back is they just don't have the money.
These two valuable resources are like having your own financial coach. Don't put it off any longer. Call 888-391-5433. Check out this special offer on GaryKeesee.com or write Faith Life now at P.O. Box 779, New Albany, Ohio 43054 to make this your best year yet.
You'll never find your destiny until you fix the money thing.
Here we go. Pop quiz. True or false? The Holy Spirit gives you an unfair advantage in life. True. Everything that is promised to us is known by the Holy Spirit, and He wants to reveal it to us. How to Navigate Life is 2 free audio messages about why some people get ahead in life while others don't. Go to GaryKeesee.tv now for this free resource.
But those that feel called to reach those same people and feel that we have that assignment can help us. And guess what? You also receive exactly the same reward we do when we heard Jesus call us. And you respond to that. That is called partnership. And I invite you today to be a partner with Faith Life Now. I am looking forward to having you as a partner, and I, your partner, the same.
For more valuable resources and financial information, call the number on your screen or visit our website, GaryKeesee.com, and tune in next time to learn more about exercising your God-given authority. Fixing the Money Thing is one of the many media outreaches of the Keesee family and Faith Life Now.